I'm actually disappointed by that response, Charles, in all honesty. Let's be absolutely clear about what happened. Firstly, this whole idea that Hamas broke the ceasefire is just not true. In fact, it was broken after, in October, Israel killed 15 Palestinian fighters. They shot dead a mentally disabled Palestinian. They killed another 13-year-old in an intrusion. And when there was an attempt to actually get a ceasefire, negotiations were ongoing, that is when they assassinated Ahmed Jabari, completely ending those ceasefire talks. Now, it's often said, and Barack Obama made this point, he said, what country on earth would tolerate rockets being fired at them? I ask you this, what people on earth would tolerate a siege which stops basic supplies getting in, an occupation, a 45-year-old occupation, a brutal occupation at that, illegal settlements all over the West Bank, which are in total violation of international law, and what we've seen in the course of this onslaught are the deaths of 158 Palestinians, at least 30 of whom are children, and I don't want to just throw statistics around. I'll give you one example of one of those children. Omar Misharan, he was 11 months old, he was a little boy, the son of a BBC journalist, and he was killed in a so-called targeted strike. Now, we all want a secure and lasting peace. When we have Israeli ministers, like the Interior Minister, calling for Gaza to be sent back to the Middle Ages, when in the last offensive we had another minister calling for a Holocaust to be inflicted on Gaza, when we have the son of Ariel Sharon, who wrote in the Jerusalem Post talking about how Nagasaki and Hiroshima were possible solutions to be inflicted. When we have those people, we won't get a secure peace, but the way we will get it, for Arabs and Jews alike, to end the occupation, end the siege of Gaza, and dismantle the illegal settlements, and finally have a just settlement for the Palestinian people, ensuring peace for Arabs and Jews and the region as a whole.
You, sir.
I think part of the problem is that people like Owen should actually keep their nose out of something that they have no intimate knowledge of, and that they jump on the bandwagon of this anti-American, ultra-left Israel bashing that is fashionable at the moment. You know, it's all very well for people on the panel and at home to sit in their suburban armchairs with no actual knowledge, intimate knowledge of the conflict.
Sorry, can I just come back to that? I mean, I'm disappointed you didn't engage with a single argument that I just put across.
All right, well, let him finish his point.
Some of the terms are bandied around as if they're factually correct.
What did I get wrong? Sorry, just correct the fact.
You know, the word pre-1967 territory is bandied around as a given fact, whereas in fact pre-1967 Jordan controlled the West Bank and Gaza, not the Palestinians. There's never been a Palestinian state on the West Bank and Gaza.
What's your view on the question of whether Israel was justified?
I think civilian life is regrettable, and I think, you know, I'm not a person who wholeheartedly agrees with the policies of every Israeli government, but I think that there's a lack of understanding by a lot of people in Britain and in the West generally of the situation that Israel faces when they have no actual knowledge of the history and the complexity of the conflict.
And you, sir, up there.
I think that gentleman is completely ignorant. He hasn't answered a single question that Owen put to him. Okay. Why is it that President Ahmadinejad of Iran, when he said something about blowing Israel into the Middle Ages, that it received such wide scrutiny, and America are threatening to possibly even go into Iran in the future, but when the Israeli minister says it, it falls on deaf ears.
And I have to say, what other country on earth would be allowed to flout international law in the way that Israel has done for decades?
Well, answer her question. Her question.
Well, the key point there...
You heard what she said, which was that the number of people who've now settled on the West Bank make the two-state solution practically impossible.
There are two possible solutions. One is to have a federal solution where you have equal rights for both Arabs and Jews. That seems to many people obviously far-fetched, but they did say that about South Africa back in the day. Otherwise, you have to dismantle the settlements, enforce international law. But what has to happen, because the point is Britain supports, as other Western countries do, they've supported and armed Israel to the teeth. They're not acting as honest brokers. They have to use their pressure to force Israel to give in and give justice to the Palestinian people.
Owen, thank you. I'm going to take a couple more points from the audience.